go upside down.
Am I upside down now?
Well, no, but you were less than 5 seconds from live, and you were going upside down, Ryan. You're going to sicken our viewing audience. Ryan, we wanted to talk.
Just don't watch in VR, and they'll be fine.
VR coming to you live soon, just like our OnlyFans. North Carolina, we're going to talk about
buy the flashlights, everybody, please, please.
The bearskin flashlights, Don Jr.'s book. Buy all the things. The sponsors are keeping us alive. Make sure you salute Putin because the Russian funding has come through. Those checks clear every time. North Carolina. We're going to talk North Carolina, the FEMA disaster, what's going on. If you're a viewer of the show, you know that you can create weather, but we'll get into all that stuff. We're going to talk some Diddy. We haven't been talking Diddy. We haven't talked Diddy. It's been busy news weeks for a while, but I think this was a slower news week, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure a lot of stuff.
News week, David.
Well, I think a lot of things got swept under the hurricane
Overton window. The Overton window.
Elon joined Trump at a rally. You want to talk about dark Elon?
Black Elon.
But, African Elon. I don't know.
I would say the N-word, but we're on Rumble. That's right. I'm just kidding.
Well, YouTube and X. Rumble, YouTube, and X. So thanks, everyone, Rumble, YouTube, and X, for watching. If you're coming over from Facebook to watch, I appreciate you. As always, Ryan, what do you have to say to our audience before we get into one of our topics?
Listening to Ben Shapiro backpedal on Donald Trump's hilarious.
He backpedaled on Donald Trump. You had a clip. Did you have a clip?
Yeah, that's why I sent you.
That's what you want? Is that the clip? Is that what you wanted to watch? I'm woefully unprepared, Ryan.
That's fine, David. So am I. That clip, Chris Williamson and Ben Shapiro, I started listening to the whole podcast, but I caught that clip as well. And I know we covered the clip last week about them, but just quite interesting stuff in there as far as like, when you look, Ben Shapiro is very intelligent. Just to see him war game politics for the Trump administration, pretty cool in general. Just very, I may not be a fan of Ben Shapiro, but I do like political strategy. I guess that's why we do the show. But
okay, so just Trump is a big Israel backer, so I suspect Ben Shapiro is a big fan of that. At least if he's not a fan of anything else in Donald Trump. At least Trump is riding that classic Republican, Israel's our biggest ally line. So if nothing else, Ben Shapiro's got that to smile about.
Yeah, he went out actually loosely about on Chris Williamson's show, and if I summarize, it's like the Supreme Court picks. I think he said he was conservative on the Supreme Court picks was the big one, but he really said conservative as far as like the economy brings things back to the states or something. But I don't know. In any regard, hearing Ben Shapiro go from like the way he was about Trump to like literally, he's in the Trump campaign. Like Ben Shapiro's Trump.
He's actively pushing for him.
He's like in the campaign of Trump. It's the beyond pushing. Like it's not just he's sponsored with them. Like he's in the campaign. Like Elon joined the campaign basically. Like I just think
Elon did, but are we talking Elon or Shapiro though?
Both. Ben Shapiro's part of the Trump campaign from the way he framed it. He's like out actively campaigning for President Trump. I mean, I could be loosely misinterpreting it.
So not in any official role though.
I mean, I don't know if Ben has a NDA about that or not, David. But
okay, but he's using his little Jew clout to push Trump. Is that
his clouty Jewness?
I just want to make sure I'm talking about the right thing. He is not officially in the Trump campaign. He is just actively pushing for Trump. Tim Pool is doing the same thing for what it's worth.
Yeah, and Tim Pool, you know what pissed me off? He had a post. I forget exactly what it was, but he's like, how is this possible? It's like, dude, you've been fence sitting for fucking 10 years now.
How is anything possible? It's because he's allowed it to happen. I'm not blaming Tim Pool for everything. I'm just saying, like, you can't stand on the sidelines and officiate for your entire life and then be surprised that things might have not gone. You need to get in at some point. You need to get into the game and make something happen. If you're just gonna have just be off to the side like somebody in the audience, like that's not how that works. So Tim Pool, I'm glad he has actively been coming forward now. He is starting to pick sides. That's what I've said. Like Tim Pool is a lot of things, but like he's finally starting to seem like see what standing on the sideline looks like. Now he's actively supporting. He's taking sides. It's a nice change up from him.
Yeah, I don't even want like us to be sided and divided and politically aligned and all these things. Like I don't want us to have to pick, but it's just, if we're voting for slavery, I want to at least have a area of expertise in my slavery if I'm choosing one side or the other at this point. I don't know. I guess we're already, this is like kind of how we already got into this. I mean, it kind of ties just Tim Pool picking and Ben Shapiro kind of not even flip flopping. I mean, obviously we've always been Trump defenders, we always say, and everything else. And we campaign for Trump as well, David, right? Like the same kind of thing Ben Shapiro's doing. But I guess like the Elon dark MAGA thing I think is interesting because I didn't understand the dark MAGA thing, but then it reminded me of that story. Excuse me. It told me it totally reminded me of the story that I told you, Dave. I sent you the text about my one neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Never voted in his life.
He's like 52 or 57. I think he said he's 57, 52, whatever. Doesn't matter. He's in his 50s, never voted. Okay. He didn't even register to vote. Okay. And he said politics, he said that he couldn't complain because he never voted. And he never voted because he never cared, because he said it didn't matter. They're both corrupt and they just don't care. He's like, this is just the way it is, no matter what this person picks or whatever. Taxes are going to go up. This is just right. So, this is an understanding. Now, granted, most of the people in my life have always kind of followed some kind of politics, and it may be a bones for the masses. It may be, sedation for the masses, David, to some degree, sure. But everybody in my life has basically at least paid a loose attention. So to hear somebody that's been like, yeah, I've never even paid attention. And he's signing up to pull Trump. And he said the reason he's doing it all is because he thinks shit is so bad that he has to actually vote. And I texted Dave this story because this cannot be like an isolated incident. And this also, I'm sure there's the opposite of somebody that's never voted and now they're voting for Kamala Harris because I'm sure the inverse is happening as well. But just to be told that story is, once again, Dave, somebody, you and I are in the space and everything else we consume and all this stuff, to hear that somebody like basically never voted when last election, it was like it was over 1 in 3 people voted statistically, I think.
Well, there was historically high votes for multiple candidates.
Well, I'm sure everybody in Florida is going to vote that got hit by the hurricane, David.
Trump was the most voted for person ever, if it weren't for Joe Biden, who was the most voted for person ever. So we had 2 very, very high margins in the same election. At some point,
yeah, that's why you can't even call him unpopular, right?
Well, you really can't. Well, you really can't, and that's why they're trying to push this narrative that Trump could never win a popular vote. Well, 82 million votes is nothing. It's nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean? You could certainly have less. In fact, if you were to go back historically, everybody was less popular than Trump, other than Joe Biden. So I to say that Trump couldn't win a popular vote is ridiculous. I don't know. I know your story, and it's certainly not an isolated incident. I wouldn't suspect. It's certainly not the only one, like only one Epstein Island, But you said it could go
one, David. Did you hear about Diddy, David? Did you?
It could be going both ways. Maybe some people are doing this for Kamala, some people are doing this for Trump. I don't know what to believe anymore. Is this a weird place to be in?
Yeah, is this what dark MAGA is about? This is kind of where, because my buddy told me about, I woke up today, the Butler, Pennsylvania rally Trump held yesterday. He called Elon up on the stage. He had a hat on. He's like, I'm dark MAGA. And Elon with his, I didn't listen to the speech, but I got enough out of it, Yeah, and Elon's terrible at public speaking, so of course he's got to do his thing. But no knock on him. It's just the point is, when he referenced dark MAGA, it didn't make sense to me. Like what is, he's a dork, and I don't think it's just a troll, right? He's trolling, obviously, but I also think like with that guy's too smart to just troll. And then it got me thinking about my neighbor. Like the dark MAGA is kind of like a shadow supporter. let's say there's somebody that works in certain unions or certain public sector jobs, or like police officers or judges or teachers, nurses, or high profile lawyers, and people on football teams, or people in very religious families. I mean, this goes both ways, but like I'm saying, as far as the shit, dark MAGA.
Well, let's see what it is. Dark MAGA refers to a fringe movement within the broader MAGA Make America Great Again community that has taken on a more radical, authoritarian, and visually dramatic tone. Here's a breakdown based on the information available up to October 6, 2024. Aesthetic and imagery, political stance, cultural and internet phenomenon, connection to extremism, public figures and endorsement, meme warfare and political strategy, public perception and usage.
Public figures. Now it goes. Go to 5. Number 5. It said it right there. Yeah,
public
right here.
Elon
Musk referencing being dark MAGA political term has entered into public political discourse. Conversation. Such endorsements or mentions to help mainstream the concept, even if it's often for shock value or to provoke. See, this is Gronk, right? We're on Gronk.
Yeah. Well, this is Elon's AI.
So that's dark MAGA AI.
Dark MAGA AI. It says Grok 2 Mini. Grok 2. I don't see the difference. What about if I put it on fun mode?
Our most intelligent answer. Yeah, I've also caught myself, David. This is interesting because I've caught myself when you Google search stuff now, even on Facebook, Meta summarizes the comments.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Of the comments on YouTube or on Facebook. And then Google is also now using AI to summarize like the first few pages of search results that you get.
Yes.
And it's very interesting.
And even get you an answer. Like if you ask a question, it'll try to get you like if I
so you don't have to go to the article. You won't have to resource. You won't have to go to source. Do you remember when they taught us how to verify if stuff was fake or not? Do you remember that in like high school and stuff, Dave?
Yeah,
now
like
they're just like
using sources.
Yeah, like now it don't even matter because we have AI, and the AI is going to source the source for us. So we just add face value, take it. It's interesting. Yeah, it's like they're removing us seeing the source material or the history or the articles or the scientific study. It's very interesting. I know this is completely different. We're in a
I just googled here. Yeah, I just googled 2 different things that I didn't get the AI. So it's like hit and miss. Like sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I would say most of the time you do though.
I have been. I just updated my phone, so maybe that's another thing.
Well, my phone's been getting it. I just went on actual Google with my laptop.
Oh, I understand. That's even. Hey, some other thing I noticed, Dave. Like, there's got to be an AI something in the phone. You ever notice like you let your kid like watch like YouTube or apps on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like your personal phone, or does he have his own or something?
He has a tablet, but okay. Usually on like our TV has YouTube. That's where he would watch most of it.
Yeah, that's the way I roll too. But sometimes you're mobile or the kids like whatever.
Sure.
So a dish off the phone. It just hit me the other day. I never understand how YouTube knows who's looking at the screen to play different shorts. Because when my kid's on my phone, dude, it's all the stuff she watches. And then when I look at it, it's all the stuff I watch. And it's never, very rarely does it cross over that she gets a self-improvement video and I get a fucking makeup review.
Oh, that's interesting because Nolan and myself have separate accounts. So like
she's on. I have it that way so I can check my search history, right, on like the videos that are watched or I have my entire history of YouTube on my account. It's kind of like one way I keep tabs on everything.
So you're saying your phone seems to know when she's holding?
Oh, it definitely knows, dude. It knows it's not my kid. I don't get makeup videos.
Well, that's kind of creepy.
Like it's got to be watching her, right? And then it knows because I give her the password to my phone.
And for that to happen, it would have to have some type of viewing device, like a camera.
Well, clearly, David, they only use the camera to scan you to get into the phone. It's not watching you the entire time when you're using it. Remember?
No, I'm sure it's not running 24/7 like our fucking Google Home. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, if I I think if you ask Google Home, it'll tell you that it is constantly listening. But then it tries to justify it.
Yo, I'm gonna get one of those things in my house and then ask if, my wife is fake orgasming or something. Because it knows. Those things, they say those listening devices, like even Siri and stuff, will get so good they'll know that your wife is pregnant before a pregnancy test even. Because because when women get pregnant, the first thing that changes is the pitch in their voice, and it happens even.
Hold on, like a Google Home or a.
Yeah, look it up. Telling a woman's pregnant by her voice pitch. Computers or something. Yeah. And in some cases, it will hit them. It will get them before the pregnancy test.
Hold on, what? Isn't designed to diagnose. No, I'm not asking if it can diagnose. Hold on, I'll try to find this.
Yeah, I forget exactly what it is, but it's something with the voice pitch of women change. It's the chemical makeup of them change.
Google tried to auto search my search and says, can Google Home tell if a woman is pregnant from a man? You don't have to specify. That's the only way a woman gets pregnant.
Well, women get women pregnant, David, clearly. What is a woman again?
Google will know I'm pregnant before I do. Primer magazine. Yes, your ex can eavesdrop on you with Google. Google told me I'm pregnant.
Oh, actually, eavesdropping on that's
Alexa, am I pregnant? National Institute of Health, the NIH. So they did get NIH funding, Dr. Paul. Let's see.
Should be able to publicly all slap him one time. Get 300 million slaps across the face. That prick.
Hold on.
Peaceful slaps, YouTubes. Peaceful.
This is fucking crazy. Hold on.
Am I wrong, David? Am I wrong?
I didn't read the whole thing, and I don't have any AI to summarize, so I'm gonna have to read the whole article myself here. Alexa, am I pregnant? A content analysis of virtual assistant's response to. I just can't. This would be so crazy, Ryan. This would blow my fucking mind. Using conceptual content analysis approach, a query of 40 questions relating to all phases of pregnancy were collected by Alexa by 2 independent investigators using 2 unique devices over a 1-week period. Of the 40 questions asked of Alexa, it was unable to answer 14 questions.
Yeah, this is a questionnaire based. No, I'm talking like the machine will know on your voice pitch. It's not even like it's not a prompt.
Hold on, I'll look at the other because that was the one from NIH.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's gonna be like the thing's just so good at knowing distinct pitches in human voices.
This was from 2019. Google will know I'm pregnant before I do. Primer magazine. Is this a trusted source, Ryan? Oh, it was already up. Well, fuck me, I guess. All right, let's see.
Dave.
We do need a producer. Bombarded by baby advertisements on social media. Last week, I noticed something curious. My Facebook feed suddenly was becoming cluttered with mother and baby advertisements out of nowhere. I was being targeted with sponsored posts for everything from pregnancy, health, vitamins, to baby clothing and children books. Hold on.
I hate these articles like this.
I use a period tracking. Hold on. Like many women, I use a period tracking app to chart my monthly cycle. On Sunday, I opened the app to make an update, only to find an alert flashing at me that I was late. In fact, it wasn't late at all. I simply had forgotten to log last month's. Where did you see this?
I heard it from doctors that have been on podcasts.
Tech companies have an incentive to use opaque language and the process to work out which apps are communicating with which websites, how often, and why.
I just heard a thing that people have a second nose that's not connected to your nose. It's like an internal smeller for like pheromones. Women's are slightly better, but yeah, that's how you can like smell people. Like you smell their pheromones, but they're developing software that can smell cancer and stuff. Or
this is Hold on. So what was the specific thing? It was using their voice?
Yeah, just put like AI can tell you're pregnant by voice pitch or something.
University of Nottingham. I really want to find something on this because this is fucking blowing my mind. Face and voice recognition technology is set to transform diagnosis of prenatal depression.
Yeah, it's not exactly it.
Dude, all right. We're gonna look more into this and find this because I'm gonna have to bring this to the table next week. This is crazy. Women's voice pitch lowers after pregnancy. Science.
That's after pregnancy. After that's not saying when you're pregnant though.
Right.
Like miss period can tell you miss period. Like I don't know how you phrase that. Yeah.
The
anyway,
case of creepy algorithms that predicted teen pregnancy. Wired. A government leader in Argentina hailed the AI, which was fed invasive data about girls. In 2018, while the Argentinian Congress was hotly debating whether to decriminalize abortion, the Ministry of Early Childhood in northern province of Salta and the American tech giant Microsoft presented an algorithmic system to predict teenage pregnancy. They call it technology platform for social intervention. What is this fucking... I don't want to subscribe to your shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, did we stumble down a conspiracy rabbit hole loosely off of this?
Yeah, Bill Gates we're gonna have to. I have to. I have to.
Bill
Bill
Gates is switching people's birth rates on a fucking algorithm.
Well,
this almost reminds me of this. Yeah, this almost reminds me of that Navy base that we caught them fucking buying and selling to China.
Well, they didn't know who they were selling it to at the time, right?
Women was labeled
so with technology,
as predestined for motherhood.
You can foresee 5 or 6 years in advance. Whoa, what? With first name, last name, and address, which girl, future teenager, is 86% predestined to have an adolescent pregnancy? What? With technology, you can... Hold on. I got to reread that. With technology, you can foresee 5 or 6 years in advance with just the first name, last name, and address. How the fuck can you predict a pregnancy? It's 86% just by the first name, last name, and address.
I mean, the address speaks for itself, right? Where you live, kind of, and then you can check the people around it. You know, there's always if you're hanging around 5 smokers, you're more likely to be the 6th. So that goes over in every area in your life. I've heard rich, fat, you know, divorced.
Being a hoe.
Yeah, everything. If 5 of your friends are hoes, you're probably going to be a hoe. But Matt Walsh will take them back.
Don't divorce my wife.
I'll fucking, dude, I don't care if I'm a billionaire. That bitch cheats, dude. Just sink this shit. I don't care.
Well, especially if you're... Yeah, especially if you're...
Fuck listen, you, dude.
This
is so crazy.
I'm sorry. Michael Knowles at Daily Wire? No.
That's who it was.
No, absolutely not.
No, you take her back. You probably never get laid again, bro.
Juan Manuel Urtubi, then the governor of the province, proudly declared on national television the stated goal was to use the algorithm to predict which girls from low-income areas would become pregnant in the next 5 years. It was never made clear what would happen once a girl or young woman was labeled as predestined. So were they put on a list?
Yeah, I wonder if they put them on a list, David, and then smuggle them off to Epstein.
Just fucking, round up the coyotes, boys.
I guess all these girls are, these are all predestined preteens here. Be a
fresh
shame.
Argentinian preteen ready-made thoughts coming your way, Bill Clinton. Are you fucking kidding me? Microsoft wasn't doing this because they were just curious which girls would get pregnant 5 or 6 years in advance. I wonder if we could do it. No, there's somebody interested in this information.
Well, surely, David, they just care about preteen and pregnant adolescent women, David. They're just super big into women. That's it.
I'm sure they're just looking to prevent the pregnancy, Ryan. Don't forget, this was research done trying to decriminalize abortion in Argentina. So naturally, what information do you need? Let's find out 6 years in advance who's going to be pregnant. I don't think those things don't add up.
Yeah,
somebody else was interested in this information.
We'll have Planned Parenthood based on the demographics that in this neighborhood, 80% of these girls will need an abortion. We'll just put an abortion clinic right here, David. Right here on this corner here with Microsoft's data.
The system was based on data including age, ethnicity, country of origin, disability, and whether the subject's home had hot water in the bathroom. From 200,000 residents in the city of Salta, including 12,000 women.
Hello? Can you hear something happen? I check 1 2 1 2 1 2. No Dave. I'm doing the pod blind now. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Dave. Hopefully he comes back. Technical difficulties today on the program. This is interesting though. Stumbling across a algorithm conspiracy. See, I'd almost like to think that this is useful information that somehow. It's like super important that we know if like your children and young women in your area are going to get pregnant. I guess there's a lot of benefit to that information. But to Dave's point, somebody really did need to know this. I mean, more than anything, get them education and healthcare. Get them a job.
Ryan, are you back?
Yeah, dude, you're back. I don't know what happened.
What happened is we're stumbling upon Epstein Island 2.0 here.
You found out how they source all their women, David, like a fucking dating app.
I don't know how much you heard, but I'm going to go back to this here. We know that territorial agents visited the houses of the girls and women in question, asked survey questions, took photos, and recorded GPS locations.
These motherfuckers, dude. I wonder what the kidnap rate of this city was before and after this.
Surely Grok can tell us, Ryan. It's fucking wild. The government sent people to these houses because they were curious about who was going to get pregnant, because they wanted to decriminalize abortion, of course. But don't worry, they just asked a few questions and took some photos. A little bit, some GPS locations. Don't worry, it's not like there's trucks that drive around and map all of this data, Ryan. Fucking crazy. What did those subjected to this intimate surveillance have in common? They were poor. Some were migrants from Bolivia and other countries in South America, and others were from indigenous Wichi, Quilla, and Guanami communities. I can't say any of that shit.
Yo, isn't it gnarly that they're fucking seeing what girls are going to get pregnant and we can't even scan people at the border without it being called racist? No, nobody? Gotcha.
Although Microsoft,
I don't need a fucking vote. I don't need an ID to fucking vote, but these people know what girl is going to get pregnant in what neighborhood and what she looks like. Yeah. My iPhone has more confirmation than my fucking polling place.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Do I need an ID? No. You don't have to prove who you are. Don't worry. We took photos of the girls who were getting pregnant in South America. It's fine. Although Microsoft spokespersons proudly announced that the technology in Salta was, quote, one of the pioneering cases in the use of AI data, end quote. In state programs, it presents little that is new. Instead, it is an extension of a long Argentine tradition controlling the population through surveillance and force. and the reaction to it shows the grassroots Argentine feminists were able to take on this misuse of the artificial intelligence. You know, we hear a lot of...
Who wrote this article?
This is Wired. I can get the
Wired magazine wrote it.
Yes. More specifically, Ryan, they should... Getty Images. Does it not say? Oh, we don't know who wrote it, Ryan. Don't worry.
It's probably written by a computer, anyways, David. Like 80% of news articles are.
Well, it's Wired, so it's AI, I'm sure. But see, listen. This is the kind of feminism we can get behind.
All in hopes of whitening the country over time, a national identity was constructed along social, cultural, and most race. Indigenous communities are promoting an immigration policy based on geography to attract European settlers. All in hopes of whitening.
Where are the feminists in the United States that want to take on this kind of misuse of artificial intelligence, this type of surveillance state, this type of excessive use of the government? Where are those feminists at? All they want to do is
How come they're not?
Kill their children.
How come they're not? How come they're not down there helping girls in 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 years old get abortions? What's wrong with them, David? Should be down there helping decriminalize abortion.
This type of eugenic thinking has a propensity to shapeshift and adapt to new scientific paradigms and political circumstances, according to historian Marissa Miranda, who tracks Argentina's attempts to control the population through science and technology. Take the case of immigration. Throughout Argentina's history, opinion has oscillated between celebrating immigration as a means of improving the population and considering immigrants to be undesirable and a political threat to be carefully watched and managed. We're having that same debate here in the States.
Do you see this right here? Women had the patriotic task. No, up a little more.
Up.
Hold on. No, never mind. I got it. The patriotic task of populating the country. Where was that? Populating the country and contraception was prohibited in 1977. The cruelest expression of the dictator's interest in motherhood was the practice of kidnapping pregnant women, considered political subversion. Most women were murdered after giving birth, and many of their children were illegally adopted by the military to be raised.
By patriotic Catholic families.
Wow, dude.
Holy
so
shit.
Because of all this, we need to AI algorithms so that we can have abortions. So children aren't getting paid.
Surely, Ryan, in a world where this is the history of your country, why wouldn't you want your government to know if you're going to get pregnant soon?
This is so. Also, did I read this right at the top of the article? The reason why they have to go through this to begin with is because after all this stuff happened in Argentina, they put very strict boundaries in place so it wouldn't happen again, and be like, hey, we're gonna have a social norm, and we're not gonna have immigrants, and we're not gonna, right? Am I understanding that right?
Well. Okay, so originally they did the study.
No, I understand the study, but it's just their little history lesson that they tried scooting in there. I just thought it was. I'm just making sure I understand this right. That Argentina was more open, and then they didn't. They went the other way because it was fucking up their culture. Yeah, and then the government got involved and it had to kill people. It basically was. That's what the whole whitening and colonization of the country was, kind of. Manage a reference to the futures, and the pressure should be managed by the powerful. Yeah, I mean, using eugenics also is kind of gnarly. This is a weird little thing we stumbled across.
Well, Salta's AI system to predict pregnancy was, Miranda's words, the persistent eugenic impulse that always contains a reference to the future and assumes that reproduction should be managed by the powerful. This is wild.
That's it. They told you. That's it. That's what they always want. Get in the pods, peasants. Eat the bugs.
Although it's unclear whether the technology program was ultimately suspended, everything we know about the system comes from the efforts of feminist activists. You know, I can assure you, whenever government does something, it doesn't undo it. Once they went through and got all their initial data, that's how they created the ability to predict just based on name and address, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah,
They don't need to go to your house anymore and take photos. They already know the information.
Yeah, and now they got the algorithm to just. Dude, what a way could you? Yo, that's Minority Report a little bit, right? To be able to have an algorithm. What power as like a ruling member of the society that you can look at data that's generated off algorithms and probability. It's not even fact, really. It's just like more than likely this is what's going to happen more than likely than not most of the time. It's very generalized. And then we're going to have laws based on that. We're going to build algorithms around it. We're going to install businesses around this. It's interesting.
Wow.
It's kind of like more proof that like the machine is taking us over because we're just doing what it says already, really. Like the thing's building the world it wants. I know it's all inputs.
That's absurd. I don't know. We're gonna
Dark MAGA, David.
Yeah.
I think truly Dark MAGA, the way I took it, at least until we grokked it here. There was a Dark Brandon meme, I guess, that was going around too. They were trying to make the Let's Go Brandon thing cool. So some people are saying that the Dark MAGA is Elon's spin on that, which whatever. I took Dark MAGA as like the shadow supporters of Trump that can't be loud and vocal. Like I want
literally in the dark.
Yeah, well, how can they
in
if
the
they
shadows?
If they work in Silicon Valley? Or if they're teachers, or if they're police officers in a blue area, or union members. Most skilled unions lean blue.
Well, what I've always found, the union bosses and the unions themselves always do, but the workers tend to be split just like everybody else. From what I've seen. You may have way more experience on this than I do, but just from people I've known.
Yeah, I was always 50-50 as far as like what I have come across in union environments. As far as like upper management or like the top guys I've never like actually known. But I will say that I've been in different halls of different unions, and they tend to have one political party advertised. So, which is fine. It's fine. I mean, it's like anything else, but this is what I guess,
Well, we know where the dock unions land. I can tell you that.
Because even take it further, Black MAGA is like a black pill, right? And what is like a black pill? When you look at relationships, it's men going their own way. But if you look at like society as a whole, the black pill is basically telling you that everything's fucked and you're better off just trying to start over. Like the black pill.
I get lost on the pills.
There's the black pill is like,
and they get confusing.
The black pill is eating like the worst of the truth and just realizing that this thing is just not going to get better. The white pill is what they always try to sell you as the cure, right? The purity, the route. This is the Ben Shapiro argument of just, win the hearts and minds, guys. That's white pill thinking. Red pill is the truth. Blue pills go back to sleep like the Matrix. Purple pill is a mix of the two.
I got to turn fun mode off.
But I will say that the Black MAGA thing, I took it like that like basically Elon had to default to support Trump, just like most people in America are going to have to be Black MAGA. You're going to have to, just like when Black Lives Matter had people put black things on their screen, this is the equivalent of the people that are non-political are going to have to be political, and that may be the statement is Black MAGA.
Core philosophy of blackpilling. At its heart, being blackpilled involves a deep dive into pessimism, fatalism, or nihilism.
That's what it's really just that whatever you're on is not going to change. That's like true. Like black pill in relationships is MGTOW, which is men going their own way. MGTW, whatever the acronym. Men going their own way is the acronym, and that's men just saying, you know what, relationships aren't fucking worth it. I'd rather just cut wood in the forest and be alone and keep my money and buy a dog. And men are doing that. Not every man. And I know some people say like autistic men tend to lean black pill, but I don't know. I guess like the moral of the story that I'm really trying to say more than anything is like Elon, this whole Black MAGA is such a symbolic thing. Like I know I even think I'm overstating. I may be looking too much into it, but what else could it represent? Like it has to be some kind of like double meaning. It's not just a troll. Because there really is people that can't speak up about what they do.
Well, that was always the theory about the secret Trump voter, right?
That's the sleeping giant.
Yeah, that's what they used to kind of refer to it as. Is there was always this when in 16 back on the original run against Hillary Clinton, there was always this like, yeah, the polls are wrong because there's this hidden group of Trump voters who aren't openly Trump voters, and everyone
or people that don't even get polled because they're not even signed up. Just like my 57-year-old neighbor, never voted. He's a black MAGA.
People then thought, that I don't know, like Democrats back then were just brushing that off, and it was to their own fault because they ended up losing that election. Remember, I'll never forget it was like a 98 or 99% chance victory for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, the day we woke up, the day of election.
Yep, and it wasn't 50,000 in Russian Facebook ads that swung that election. I promise you, the support was there, just like it was there, and it was. Don't forget, it was there in 20 as well. He had 82. He had more votes in 20 than in 16. He had 82 million votes. That's a lot of votes.
Yeah, more votes than Hillary Clinton did.
His popularity grew over 4 years. Don't forget that. Don't think you're in a minority. Don't think if you're a Trump voter, don't think you're in some small world of shadowy people.
Well, it's rough because when you have family members that don't like the guy, let's just say at the best case scenario, you like are sitting down for Christmas or you're sitting down at these holidays, you just see your parents, you're like, man, everything's just getting expensive. You're like whatever. And then they get upset, right? Or it turns into the politic thing. Like I've had this happen. I know there's some people that can't even talk at holidays. It's ruined the holidays.
That's almost like, people like to talk about dog whistles or whatever, but like anytime I'm out in public, you don't have to be like an open Trump supporter, but when I hear somebody say, man, I can't believe how expensive this is, in my mind, I'm like, this person's polling Trump. It's not official polling by any means, but just pay attention to the way and what people say and how they're saying it when they're out in public in normal everyday situations. Like people walking around like, holy shit, I can't believe how much this is. That person knows Kamala Harris is in the Biden administration. They know she's not going to fix it.
Yeah, even if they have, what do they really have now is just holding on to the women vote. I've been driving actually around more here in upper class, middle income people.
Got a lot of suburban white women there.
Well, it's it's on the sides of the street. Like it's Waltz, Trump on the other side. The neighbor is a Waltz. That dude's neighbor's a Trump. They're just battling with flags, dude. Like I've never seen anything like that. The only thing that I ever remember seeing as far as like signs on yards was the NY Safe Act. That shit was everywhere. Every fucking yard until you drove into the city. But the further you went out in the country, the more you got, obviously, because it was about firearms. But I see a lot of Trump stuff locally. I see some Waltz stuff locally. I'm kind of in the middle of everything, though. It's like a 50-50 split. But, I'm really seeing I told somebody, I think it was my father, that's the battleground of our area. Is where we're seeing this. You're literally seeing the division in neighbors. That is if we were to go use the abortion algorithm, David, there's an 86% chance that area is a highly contested battleground area. Dude, that is such a fucked up thing to think about. That they just went around to Argentina.
Do you think they know? Do you think they know in 5 to 6 years who's going to vote for who based on the first name, last name, and address?
Why not, David? Especially if they can selectively target your phone and your they could base in theory, if they know where you live, and let's say they know that this guy's a Trump supporter and that guy's a Waltz supporter. At this point, they have enough information. Not that they can do this legally, but they could just send your entire house's. You could send the whole house's IP address, Trump ads or Kamala Harris ads, and it would be on every TV.
Who said this? If it was somebody at the World Economic Forum or somebody at the WHO, we played this clip, but somebody at one of these global entities had said that, in a few years, like, you won't even have to vote. We'll know through the algorithm who you're going to vote for.
Yeah, and then to go further, that guy was on Rogan, said that they can sway people that are 50-50. So,
well, in order to sway them, Ryan, you need to know who they're going to vote for, don't you?
And to go even further, if you're able to do that for somebody's whole life, are you really swaying them? Or are you just literally psychologically, digitally, dude, it's like digital social engineering.
It's literal. It's propagandizing them.
That's
not an algorithm. We put a nice, cute bow on it and call it an algorithm, but that's really what it is. It's government propaganda.
It's digital eugenics because it's killing the diversity of mind. Instead of wiping out certain genes, they're wiping out certain thought patterns. Like they're literally taking the algorithm and using it to eugenics ideas or political dissidents or whatever ideas they don't like. And like I said, if they can do that for your whole life, when you're 20 years old and all you know is to do what you're told, no wonder you're going to vote to chop off your dick and vote for immigrants to come take your job or whatever. Oh yeah, just get rid of Americans' history. Who cares about rewrite the Constitution? It's evil, written by rich white evil men. But even though you read it but you'll never be able to read it because only Gronk will be able to see it because we're not allowed to see the Constitution. Dave, they'll just give me the AI summary of the Constitution just like they do. I would love to know what AI has to say about the Second Amendment. Because that's a prime example. Like this thing isn't going to tell you what it really means. And you also can't AI summarize some of the things in this country. Like you can't summarize the morality of America. Fuck, the 10 Commandments barely can summarize the morality of Christianity.
You could write a hell of a dystopian novel with things that they're actually doing. Like seriously, if you were to go on the street and tell the average person some of these things that we're talking about right now, and we can bridge this in North Carolina here, but if you were to go in the street and tell these people about some of these things that we're talking about,
like weather modification,
yeah, they would think this is totally made up. In fact, I always get her name backwards. MTG, I think. Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's not Green Taylor, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene. She went on X recently and said that, well, they can control the weather. And it was met with a lot of retweets and comments of, don't believe these mega people. They're all conspiracy theorists. Hold on. I know for a fact, because we do the show, Ryan, that we talked about, well, you've been talking about cloud seeding and chemtrails forever, but we talked about it specifically on this show because
big chemtrail guy for a long time.
Big chemtrail guy.
Super big chemtrail guy.
The thing that's interesting is that we talked about on this show specifically in Dubai because people are saying, well, you can't really control it that much. I mean, you can add a little bit of rain, but not that much. But we had a story in Dubai that we talked about where they actually caused mass flooding in the city because it worked too well. So I don't know. Am I suggesting that they caused a hurricane? No, I don't think you necessarily had to cause a hurricane. You just need to make things a little bit worse. The fact that it's so far inland and caused so many problems in North Carolina, to me, is mind-blowing. They're going to say it's climate change and that they're going to use it as a, call for carbon taxes and controlling all of you.
Clearly, a hurricane that gets its power from water would get stronger when there's no water around it.
Well, that's actually the thing about cloud seeding, Ryan, is that it's more effective in dry climates.
Oh, that's weird. And if they can feed it from the top instead of the bottom, the thing would actually probably get bigger and never run out of power.
Well, that's now also coming from the other end of the Gulf. So really, there were two. There was at the Gulf and then actually in the Atlantic Ocean.
Dave, look up HAARP. Look up HAARP before we go any fucking further.
That was the other thing I was going to say, because we talked about this on the program. And actually, when you mentioned this, however many moons ago this was, I didn't hear about HAARP at the time. Look. Never mind, it does work, Ryan. I'm getting a nice Google AI summary.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to tell you all about the HAARP history, David, about how they lied about it for 20 years. And then now it's privately held by the military or something.
HAARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research. And my understanding is they literally emit like frequencies into the air. Am I wrong about this? To change the atmosphere?
Yeah, ionosphere. It's basically
program a scientific study of the ionosphere.
Yeah, look, radio waves with the ionosphere. Yeah, they zap a microwave or a radio wave. That's the frequency. I don't know what the fuck it would be, but HARS facility includes a high-frequency radio transmitter with 180 antenna elements that direct energy to the ionosphere in space. The facility also has a radio and optical diagnostics instrument that provides real-time data. Oh, weird. Is the world's most powerful ionosphere heater, David. It is powered by 3,600 horsepower diesel generators, can emit 3.6 megawatts at multiple frequencies and beams. David. They have beams.
Direct. Well, it said direct energy too. Direct energy beams.
They do not offer tours of the facility.
Oh, that's
the University of Alaska does hold an annual open house. Oh, nice, you nice. Freaks!
I'm sure they clean it up for.
Nah, Diddy doesn't have an open house, but you can come to his house party once a year.
So, let's talk about some conspiracies that we know to be true, Ryan.
Look, for the record, David, this thing used to be publicly funded. This was not always. This was actually a military project, if I'm not mistaken, when they first started it.
That is correct. I remember talking about that on the show.
Yeah, and then this got turned into this is now owned by the college or whatever.
We have, Ryan, cloud seeding. It's a fact. They do it. Like it's open fact. You can search.
Dave, look up the fucking chemtrail patents. Like you can go to the patent office and look how they have these devices that are made for. Now, it doesn't mean that all these commercial airplanes are using those fucking parts, but they have the technology. They make the parts to spray some kind of something while flying.
Production of distribution of radiative forcing agents. Yeah, I mean,
a method is described for reducing atmospheric or global warming resulting from the persistence of heat-trapping gas in the atmosphere, EI, from the greenhouse gas. And he's probably saying that we're going to spray shit in there to reflect the fucking sunlight, like we covered on the program Bill Gates wanted to do. National Science Foundation. What's that say? Weather, climate modification.
Weather and climate modification, which is a conspiracy, right? Well, this is a .gov. I'm sure it's a conspiracy.
Did you check that? I'm waiting for the source, David. I don't want to jump to conclusions here.
I don't know how fucking long this document is, but it's taking a long fucking time to get here.
Well, it is. Neil deGrasse Tyson's got to prove
Holy
before
fuck,
I could see.
You could have set Hawaii on fire with the iron beam. All right, here we go. Weather and climate modification. Wow, it's a whole fucking thing.
Holy we got the documents, David. Get document cam on there. Holy fuck.
Document cam.
Holy fuck. Did we go to the table of contents here? There's 158 pages. Look at this.
Wow.
Research on social effects.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Weather modification program.
Footnotes. Impact studies.
Does not turn out.
2 approaches to the human dimensions. Holy fuck, what the hell is this?
How old is this?
Here's the thing. I don't want to hear the term conspiracy theory anymore, if I'm being honest.
Why, David? The National Science Foundation doesn't have fucking 160-page article talk about weather modification.
Because literally, if you do any amount of research at all, like literally everything that everyone tells you is conspiracy theory is 1,000% true every fucking time. It's crazy, and it could be the craziest shit. The idea of changing weather to me is fucking crazy. Like,
it's not an old idea either. Actually, no. David, to go further, you could type this in to prove that the military thought of this. Type in using weather as a weapon during Vietnam. And that will pull up, it should pull up an article, or we'll talk about something that the United States military was investigating if they could spray. I mean, these are the same people that Monsanto that made Agent Orange and napalm that fucking murdered people. And they knew it was going to give cancer to everybody. They didn't give a fuck. But these same people wanted to research some kind of chemicals. I don't know if it was the spray in their air or their water, but they wanted to and I think they ruled it as inhumane.
As every, what the fuck is that, festival goer knows, deep mud can make movement difficult. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. military weaponized this effect in an attempt to halt traffic.
I think they made mud. Was it clouds? There it is. Operation Popeye, David.
Operation Popeye. Is this a new one?
So, it was a military cloud seeding project carried out the United States Air Force during the Vietnam War, 1967 to 72. This highly classified program. That's weird. Everybody said it was a conspiracy, David. I wonder why. Click on that fucker.
This.
Yeah, Popeye. Operation Popeye. Rainfall it had a highlighted area, but
this
cloud seeding activity is sustained bias for designated north. It would take advantage of the present northeast monsoon to increase normal rainfall. The objective is to inhibit overland vehicular movement and to reinforce the bottlenecks already created as streams crossings by the bombing of bridges. So they we're gonna flood you out and blow up all the bridges. Man, the United States military is bad. The memorandum from the Deputy Undersecretary of the State of Political Affairs to Secretary of State Rusk.
These
Weather
are
modification in North Vietnam and last Project Popeye. Look at you.
These are literally .govs. I don't want to hear conspiracy theories don't exist. We've talked about some of these things. We've talked about We talked about some of these things. We talked about Operation Northwoods. That's when the CIA wanted to shoot a passenger plane out of the sky to start World War fucking III.
Hey, it was, the Cubans had missiles, David. We got to get January 64 to June 64. United States respond to Latho North Vietnamese offenses on February and May. United support for Sylvania during the April crew United States photo reconnaissance.
Crazy.
This is beautiful. Washington, January 13th, 1967. So we're literally talking technology that's 60 years old.
60-year-old technology. They were able to fight wars with it. But they can't control the weather, Ryan.
His request for approval to initiate the operation phase. Popeye selected areas map at the cliff along the infantry. So they were going to target.
Do this. Everyone do me a favor. This
they had a map of where they're going to cloud seed to cause floods, dude. That is crazy.
This is the reference point. So everyone do me a favor. If you see anyone in public, online, any of them who say that you can't control the weather, I want you to point Operation Popeye out. This is the one. This is a .gov. Open documents.
And I'm not going to say that it's fucking BlackRock to mine lithium out of North Carolina. For all we know, China and Russia could be using cloud seeding technology and fucking doing this to cause us financial trouble on the political. Like this could be, like other governments could be doing this against us. This could actually be like a military war. I mean, how many hacks have we seen this year? There's just, all these hacks are just coincidental. It's not a cyber war.
Software updates.
Yeah. It just happened to Verizon last week. Software update.
It was probably a software update. Here's all the things too. They play that everybody so well. In public, this is what you'll hear. Oh man, can you believe FEMA? They're not giving any money to North Carolina, but we got all this money to send to Ukraine. Sure, that's a fair point. Let's look at the bigger picture, please. Operation Popeye. Can we look at the fact that they can control the weather, control the climate, control you?
Yeah, and the idea to say that this operation was like, oh, they were just theorizing this. No, they the military. Obviously, they already possessed the technology, or they would have never thought of it as a useful tactic to use against the North Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. They literally were trying everything to stop the spread of communism, including fucking with the weather and giving people cancer with napalm. But I'm sure, Dave, they just put this technology in a little glass shelf. Like, they just put it on a shelf, David. Don't worry about it. I didn't think weather modification, David, until I heard that there was almost going to be four natural disasters and 4 tropical storms back to back to back. And then I also heard that the hurricane didn't lose steam when it hit land. Now, granted, it could be climate change. But I'm not a meteorologist, but I do know that these programs have existed. The military has studied these. I don't necessarily think that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is sending a earthquake or a hurricane or anything of that nature either. But they cloud seed. I watch them cloud seed. They spray X's, and if they can fly airplanes anywhere, how come they always spray X's and they always fly them over the sun? It happens every time.
You could almost make the case too that even if they weren't being nefarious or doing this on purpose, maybe 60 years of cloud seeding has caused climate change.
I mean, maybe, David. They want me to stop driving a car, but they can obviously just print all the bullets and murder half the world with it. That's fine. It's good for climate change. They're killing people, right? You're the carbon they want to get rid of. Yeah, it ties into the sun bows, David. I've been putting them on my Instagram. I'm finding like the sun, and there's a perfect halo, like a circle. I've never seen that in my life. I'm 33.
When you sent me that picture, I never saw that before either.
Never. I'm 33 years old. I've never seen that. And it's raining in the distance. I had the one day that I had the sunbow, the 360 sunbow, I was all over the place. I went from north to south to east to west, and there was no rain in my whole fucking area. Perfect circular sunbow. It's from them spraying. Wouldn't it make sense, David, that aluminum oxides would, with light waves and like, it's like the white prism, right, David, of the Pink Floyd cover?
Ah, interesting.
You know what? Why wouldn't it be like that for a very, because you got to think, like, if it's like aluminum oxides, I've heard. I don't actually know. Whatever. Somebody far, dorkier has broke this down on Facebook, I'm sure, or something. But I'm sure the chemicals in there, once you make it like a particulate and put it in like a vapor form, it probably would alter the light spectrum. So I don't know. I'm not, whatever. I think it is chemtrails. I 100%. The sunbow thing is chemtrails. I don't. Not that they can't naturally occur, but not 2 days in a row. 3 days in a row.
Ryan, what do you want to say anything about Diddy?
We told you. I told you so. I actually, my daughter put on a movie with Lindsay Lohan. What the hell is it called? Mean Girls.
Oh, yes.
And obviously, I seen it when we were basically that movie is we were in high school when that movie came out, so it was like super nostalgic, right? The dress, way people dressed and talked, but I felt super bad for Lindsay Lohan. I almost can't watch those movies, and I wonder if we're going to start looking at music and media and television and Hollywood the same.
She was like absolutely destroyed by
Hollywood. She was going to be a very beautiful, powerful girl, man. Like,
did you see her in the movie Machete?
No.
Have you ever seen the movie Machete?
No.
Okay. Hold on.
Machete's about like the guy. He's like some kind of Spanish assassin or something.
Yeah, Danny Trejo. It's a really, really good movie. It's
like a funny action movie, right? Like a Quentin Tarantino style movie.
It's very like in your face and on purpose. It's pretty wild.
Right. Depending on how you view the movie is how it is. Like if I'm looking at this as a silly movie or an action movie, you can watch it as both. I mean, the Greeks, David, I don't know if you know this, said that all things in life are either a comedy or a tragedy.
But anyway, she was in it, and she was just, I don't know, she was very rough in the whole thing.
And I mean, it's really sad. I seen a thing about Kesha, too. She said that her next goal in life is to tear down the music industry that fucked her up. That's like basically her words, not mine.
Well, she, yeah.
Wake up in the morning and smell like...
Well, yes. She was very much like one of his like projects, though, right?
I honestly don't know. I believe so. I mean, how much stuff we got to see? I mean, really, what we're really watching, like, this is what's so funny, is like we're the first generation to like actually see how connected Hollywood, the media, the politicians, the businessmen, like everything. It's a big club, and you're not in it, right? The George Carlin line, but that was in like the 80s. He said that, the 90s, dude.
And he fucking nailed it.
Yeah, but it's real easy for us to look back and be like, of course that's the way it is. But dude, Tucker Carlson didn't believe the deep state existed until 2016, dude. Like, people are still asleep. And now we're seeing it. People are busting at the seams. Those the Nickelodeon documentaries, the Britney Spears stories. And these people are the breadcrumb circus, right, David? Feed them cake, right? Let them eat cake, rather. Let them eat $750.
Yeah, give them bread and circus.
Give them bread and circus, they'll never revolt. They had the fucking Roman Colosseum open until Rome fell. They were, you know what? There was probably if it ever got invaded, I don't really loosely know, but if we were to get invaded, we would all be at the sports stadium. China would invade us on a Sunday because we'd be at the Bills game. You know what I mean? Like literally. And we'd probably be like, oh, this is just, does Josh get to play next weekend? Or, oh, Kendrick's at the halftime for the Super Bowl. I'll wait. It's fine. You know, I'll wait, man.
Super Bowl Sunday would be a literal perfect invasion time.
That's it. It's cold as fuck too. Well, climate change, Dave. I'm sure a hurricane will come and hit Western New York here.
I'm sure countries don't know the best time to invade. You know, Argentina knows who's going to get pregnant 6 years in advance, but I'm sure they haven't done that research.
Well, they don't know, David. Just the algorithm knows. We're not replacing you, of course.
Jesus Christ, Ryan! That literally was some crazy shit.
That's up there with the monkey farm. I got to level with you.
I had never heard that before. That's fucking crazy.
I mean, that's probably adrenochrome level fucked up.
It's up there.
I'm trying to think something else we covered that's on par with that besides adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome is easily the craziest shit we talked about on this show. Anyone who wants to go back and watch some of our episodes with Kevin, his little conspiracy bit he did. We did. How many of those did we do?
Oh, dude, I think there's almost 20 of those or something.
Is there that many of them?
Yeah, I think we made it double digits with those. We had to. He did at least 10 of those.
Did we really do that many? The adrenochrome itself was a 2-part episode, and like literally by the end of the first episode, I felt sick listening to Kevin go over this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how that guy researched that. Just went to bed.
I wouldn't be able to sleep. I couldn't. I had trouble sleeping that night. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude, the Diddy shit's weird. I just seen a picture of it was him. I don't know if it was Chris Brown. It was Diddy, another singer, and Leonardo DiCaprio. And apparently they were all fucking around. And dude, look, here's the thing. Like, I don't even care that they're all fucking each other. Like, I don't really care if you're having these Caligula style parties and you guys are like, I just don't want you to like be lying about it. Now, granted, it's funny that the people that are all fucking sucking each other off are the ones that are like, yep, my kid's trans. And then we can obviously point to them and be like, dude, this is just like a demonic or a bad mindset, or like this is engineered. Like, we can say all these things about it, but it is like, it has to be traumatizing to your body to go through some of these parties, even if they seem fun. You know, like you're riding on dopamine, bro. And the higher the high, the lower the low. I'm not a psychologist or a biologist or an endocrinologist or any of these ologists, but I do have like common sense, I think. And I would have to think after enough of these parties, they got to be, look, they can't all just be hazing events and they all just can't be for pleasure. Like, I would like to think like not all of those were innocent. Like, some of those were displays of dominance, especially with Diddy. When you see the video of him whooping the shit out of Cassidy, everything that woman had to go through just to like get away from that piece of crap. But like, you know, that guy probably fucked dudes and held it over their head for their whole life. You know, like that's.
I don't know. I was hearing there was some crazy shit I was hearing about. Was it Justin Bieber and Meek Mill and
Meek Mill and Justin Bieber?
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I seen a list of all the people that have been to his parties, and I'm not going to broad brush all celebrities that they're all into weird shit. But if on a balance of probabilities, the people that are going to be the most open, I'm just going at this from a Jordan Peterson lens. If you were to go do his fucking personality test, openness is basically the trait we're talking about when you're looking at wanting new experiences and more open to polyamory and shit. That would be neuroticism and openness. And artists tend to be very neurotic and very open. And when we're talking about the most open and most neurotic artists that have ever lived, arguably, because there's that levels of delicacies that never existed before, right? They have private planes and gold and $10,000 bottles of champagne and caviar. Like, we're talking levels of artistry and elitism that have never existed. and they have the world's their oyster. Like the most open, most neurotic people, the people with the most money and power and influence over social fame and clout, I'm supposed to believe aren't just fucking dirty freaks. Like if I had to guess, I would wager that 7 out of 8 of those people are like that. And then there's just varying degrees of scumbaggery. You know, and I'm operating out of this lens simply based out of the way that I think politics and money work. Because I think politicians get like that. They get trapped in the system, or they love the system, right? So let's be honest, like it's got to be fun sitting with power and money and drugs and the most beautiful women and sports cars. It's enticing. It'd probably be addicting. It'd take a strong man or woman to walk away from a lot of them things, and they don't. And you know, who are we to judge? But like I'm not saying this to be morality police. I'm just saying that, like, you know, there's that saying with the Nuremberg trials that the guy's like, how could you do this to people? And he was like, it's hard to know when the devil's putting his arm around you, you know? And like,
oh, this was the one, Ryan.
It's sad, dude. It's like, you got to think like everything that we've ever consumed as far as entertainment value has literally been the opposite of what they put the most, they break these beautiful women that can sing, that are beautiful and can sing and can perform. And like they put their heart and soul into it. They have this crazy story, come from poverty or something, and they fucking rape them and they drug them and they tell them they got to do porn before they can be famous. And then we watch them and we applaud them. And these people had to go through pain and fucking suffering. And we think they're rich and famous and living this lavish lifestyle when the record company has double, I think it's 360 deal contracts they're called, where they basically they pay you, but then you end up paying them all the money back because of royalties, and you don't make the right. And the whole system's just engineered to take beautifully talented people and just fucking destroy them so that they can reap and suck all the value out of them. They can fuck all the beauty out of them. They can smash all of their wealth, and they can destroy their beautiful creative minds. And we see it with everybody. Robin Williams, Will Smith, like how many people have fallen from grace? They all do. They all do. Like how many movies the actor, like Johnny Depp, right? He went through the Amber Heard thing.
Hey, we're not going to sit here and watch the whole thing, obviously, but if anyone wants to go back, I'm pretty sure this was the one. I think it's number 6, and I don't think we did part 2 right after, but it was Ryan, it was a Halloween episode.
Oh, were we dressed up?
No, but just from the date.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty crazy. Let's cut to a random section though.
At 14, so she was pregnant with her father's child at 14 years old. He had groomed her from the time she was a
best. Well, it's obviously
oh,
it's obviously
Jesus Christ!
Have the algorithm.
Sweet potato. They're the highest.
You're getting a fucking ad. Come on,
11 to getting up to that point. And like he literally just talked to her about like their moment of like consummation and like stuff and like literally like worked. Like, it was really fucked up. The point is like she ended up getting it taken care of. She didn't want to have her father's kid, and he took umbrage to this fact and beat the hell out of her. And like the thing where when it got to the courts, it was such a ugly thing that the public was like, well, that just doesn't happen, and he ended up getting off.
Cloud seeding doesn't happen, David.
Oh my God.
In the same chapter in the book, it talks about how John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas years later got his own daughter pregnant and then wrote about it in his memoir saying, well, you know, somebody raped her at knife point. And it's like, well, was that you?
The whole episode is just fucking.
Men get used to dating women of certain calibers. They don't go backwards, if you know what I mean.
They could.
Yeah, we're getting ads.
Unplug the
Listen,
country.
There's too many. Is this what it's
Wow.
like in our content?
Wow. I think I was about to make the bridge that if you're used to fucking 14-year-olds, you're just gonna want to keep fucking 14-year-olds. Goddamn.
Here's the thing. Like if you go back and watch the Let's Talk Crazy segment.
Jesus Christ, dude. God help.
You're right, Ryan. It looked like there was 11 or 12 episodes. But if you go back and watch those, some of those things that Kevin talked about was just fucking out there, man. Crazy. But it's all stuff Kevin read, researched, documented from books, sourced everything. He's like little AI. He's like a living AI.
It's KI.
It's KI.
KI.
Go back and watch. Go watch if you're gonna watch anything, if you go back and watch, we have a lot of older good content. Don't get me wrong, but like if you're gonna go back and watch anything, go watch the Let's Talk Crazies. The Kevin's some of that shit was just.
The World's Fair ones were fun too. When he talked about the World's Fair, those were the more funner side of those.
Well, yeah, they weren't all dark. The adrenochrome ones were dark. It makes you feel gross.
It's just the most fucked up pod we've ever done.
Yeah, by far. There's some cool ones though. Like it might have even been during the adrenochrome one, but there was one about the Antarctic Nazis, which was pretty fucking wild.
Oh yeah.
So for us to go to this .gov and show the very, very proven history of cloud seeding is nothing compared to the shit we've talked about on the show. I promise you. You want to talk about the craziest shit we talked about on the show? You go to Let's Talk Crazy, Kevin's segment on the show. You go back, watch some of those. That's the shit that's fucking crazy. That stuff blows your fucking mind.
The Antarctic Nazis that were talking to aliens or they built a whole military base down there. They were trying.
That's the crazy shit. Kevin. I'd love to get Kevin back on the show with some form of frequency at some point in the future. But that was that really was crazy.
Oh my god, dude! The monkey farm was good, but the Antarctic Nazis, dude, I'll tell you.
Ryan,
catching them with that Chinese fucking military base was a good one too. I know I said that earlier.
Well, because that.
Yeah, we don't know who bought the land. Well, somebody had to know. 7 months.
Yeah, no
later.
idea.
Yeah, Chinese business
just sold it.
Just billions, 100 acres or million acres or 10 million acres or something. Oh fuck, dude. Yeah. I don't know. That's. I guess we're doing the layup at the end anyway. Neil,
yeah, we're at the end here.
Yeah, poor Bills. Do we need a number one receiver, David? Because I heard everybody can eat like Mahomes, and it's fine.
No,
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure
they're going to grow. They're going to grow some of their guys. Khalil Shakir was out, who is their number one receiver, and Keon Coleman's going to get better. He's a rookie, so. And you have Dalton Kincaid, who's a legit number one tight end in the National Football League. I'm not concerned.
So we just need development then.
Absolutely. You got a lot of young guys. It's a young team now,
which is good for us. It's just shitty for Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's shitty for now, but it's good for the future.
So, like, when the stadium's built, we'll be good again?
Hell yeah. They time that right. 5 or 6 years in advance, they time this. Almost like you can predict pregnancies.
Can they predict Super Bowls, David, based on the names and the addresses?
Holy shit.
Yo, what a loose fucking thing to be able to predict such a vicious statistic.
Preteen pregnancy. We could tell by your name. Stereotypes aren't real though.
No, you can't generalize people, David. Everybody's different. What's your name?
We don't know that Asians aren't good at driving. You know, if Argentinians are going to be pregnant before adulthood by their name.
What's your name? And where do you live? Survey says.
Pregnant.
Government feud, David, coming to a TV screen near you. Yeah, poor Bills. They should have put a dome on that fucking stadium. I think about it every day. I drive by that fucking.
It'll be
like, why not dome it? Dude, they're taking 2-lane highways and making them 5-lane highways, like multiple lanes, so that people can just get to the stadium and get home and not fuck traffic up for 4 hours. Put a dome on the damn thing.
Well, they don't have that kind of technology, Ryan.
Dude, they rezoned all of the land around the stadium for 5 fucking miles, but you're not going to put a dome on the thing for 8 games a year. State-of-the-art stadium just snows fucking 4 months a year here. At least, dude, another thing. There's banks here that are giving people home equity loans on their house, David, so that they can buy Bills tickets at the new stadium.
Excuse me?
Yeah, David, home equity loan so that you can afford to go to the Bills game.
That's fucking horrible.
Yo, BlackRock is going to own everything, dude.
They're going to own Bills season tickets.
Dude, that licensing agreement is tied to your house now. to think things are going to get cheaper is also in a fallacy at this point.
Ooh, one last thing. I think we're heading out, right?
Yeah, I got to lay up at the end, but yeah.
One last thing too. Tristan Tate on X had said that he's going to get into. He thinks he's going to do some gaming videos. So listen, you got to fight the culture war on all fronts. You can't be in the culture war if you're not in the culture.
David, as somebody who, like, you know, I don't follow gaming as much as I used to or whatever, what do you think, like, that whole space is missing? Is it really, for the streaming, is it just the personality that really drives that content, that community? Is like a good person? Don't matter. Like, I guess what I'm asking is, it's not so much the game, right? It's like the community that person draws.
Well, that's the thing, because everybody has the same game, right? In theory. So we're all working with the same thing, you know. We got the same concrete foundation.
So that's why you think it just brings people together anyways, it's just a common interest. And then you can separate yourself from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I know we've talked about it. I'm not against it, you know. I don't know how that would work, but I actually just was playing The Witcher 3 the other day just to like fucking distract myself. I hurt my shoulder, so I got to kind of sit the fuck down and not try to do so much and rest. And so I'm like, I'll play some games.
Holy shit, you sound like a union member. Get in there and start swinging a hammer. Hit it with your purse.
Everything's a hammer as electrician, David, even water bottles. Yeah. What the fuck are we talking about? Oh yeah. I know we loosely touched on it. This will keep going. They're going to have documentaries on it. I just want people to realize that we're watching the fall of all the creative culture. Okay. And it's going to make a vacuum. They're going to try to replace it with AI. We don't want that. We don't want AI made movies. We don't want AI directors. We want people to make all the things that we consume creatively. It's the only way we're going to get original ideas or content that has nothing new under the sun. The only way we're going to keep getting good stuff is if we let humans be the creation and the creators, because AI cannot create anything. It is imitation. Even if they create it, David, it is an AI creation, but is an imitation from an idea that came from humans. So we need to keep that. And I'll also say this to anybody who's creative out there. It's going to open up a space for us. So, because we're going to need new types of music. We're going to need new type that we're watching the death of the old guard here. This is kind of like the way the media died. We're watching how entertainment's dying. And I don't just mean like YouTube killing TV or streaming killing movies. I don't mean that. I mean the actual hubs. I mean, the idea of influencers and followers and following people is basically that you're a celebrity. Like anybody can be a celebrity. So let's use that. You know, that's actually, Dave, it's one of the reasons we do the program, right? It's like, oh, well, they have this software. Let's fucking educate people or talk politics or try to have debates or whatever the reason. But so do it. We're going to need new movie ideas. We're going to need new types of music. We're going to need new rap lyrics. We're going to need new country music. We're going to need new everything because these people are fucking broken and distorted, and they're selling a plastic culture that isn't real. They're selling drugs and everything else. And I'm not, I've been in the streets, David. You have too. We're all not shit. We've all done shit we're not proud of, but I'm also not here to judge people. A lot of broken people looking for meaning, which is all going back to this point that the meaning is in the creation that we can leave, because there's going to be such an open void in what we're looking. And it's really going to be a detriment because everybody that we looked up to for artwork is going to be compromised. And then that's going to like disdain and distort the art and the value and the quality of the artwork. So now it's going to leave us lost searching, because we used to turn to music for a release. We used to go to art museums for a release. We used to watch a good movie for a release. Now we have go woke and go broke on everything. Our souls are starving for that creative outlook, the Piety, right? Like the Mona Lisa. Like we have to go back that far to get inspired again. So I guess more than anything, like the Diddy thing will manifest. I guess that's why it's nice we kind of loosely touched on it, because I don't think, dude, like I said, we're finally seeing how all the webs of everything, the business, the politics, the elite, is like how it really was just a big club. And it's I I don't know. Alex said years ago that if you're bored, you're not paying attention, because I just met with a friend today and we went for a very nice park walk locally. And we just sat, and it's somebody I've known for a long time. They're quite a bit older than me as well, which also helps. To anybody have male friends that are like twice your age, the shit they will tell you is unbelievable. Even if it's just your coworker and you can, hey man, 5 minutes of your time kind of thing. Just get what you can, fellas. Because it's so enlightening hearing men, because we all go through the same shit as men. It's just different spots, you know. But anyways, to just meet up with him and sit and talk and like relax and just like kind of look out. We kind of talk, you know, the family, how's the kid kind of thing, and how's this and how's where. We covered all that, but then like there was certain times we kind of brushed on current events, and like it's just weird to be paying. If you've been paying attention the last 10 years, right? 15 years. For his case, it's been like 30 years. You know, which is basically my entire life. And it's a weird time to be alive for people. We're all out there trying to find meaning in a screen that gives you the chemicals that makes it feel like you have meaning. Like, how gnarly. It's like, it's like the very thing that cures you can also poison you in too much doses, you know, when a tonic becomes a toxin. So I guess more than anything, I'm coming up on my 33rd year on this earth, David. This Wednesday, October 9th, is my birthday. And I used to read things on the program. Remember, I used to write something from last year. And I've gotten away from that just from life and me not staying disciplined. But it was funny because my dad told me 33 would be my year. And it's the year of Jesus, too, which is I also thought was kind of funny when he told me that. And to tell you, in the last few months of my really last few weeks here, like 5 weeks, I guess I'm searching for the next like thing to make it worth it. And I don't just mean like life and everything else, because, you know, Dave, I don't know if you feel this some ways, but we're in different spots. But like still to this day, it's like, why even fucking bother? You know, and it's more than your family. Like, yeah, I get up for my kid. That's easy to say. It's easy to keep going for your kid, dude. I know you know that. It's like the easiest thing to like, oh, my kid, yeah, I'll do whatever I have to do. That's the easiest thing to keep going for.
Yeah,
but
it's those the ultimate motivation.
Yeah, and the days you don't need to do any of that, that everything else is taken care of, and you can just like sit down, but you're like, I can't sit down. You know, like what is next? Like I like it's just autopilot. That's the plan, is autopilot here. You know, and I'm in the middle of a couple things I got to fix in my life. So I guess like I guess this entertainment this week is just really realizing how you get older and why you get older. I just I'm very fortunate to be where I am. I've gotten lucky a lot. I had great mentors, and I fucked up a lot. And I think more than anything out of this point in my life, I didn't love myself enough, and I haven't shown love to other people enough. So, I don't know. More than anything, David, I appreciate you for your time, as always, every week, and showing up, doing the reps, and here dismantle the greatest narratives that have ever been contrived on humanity, because Dave and I operate the greatest podcast in history that will tell you how they are sourcing girls for Diddy's Island. There, David. Only us will break that down in real time.
Stumble upon it live.
Stumble across it live based on voices and pregnancy. Yeah, more than anything, David, I appreciate you for always being here for me. I know you're my brother in arms, and I get more and more proud every week to just do this program with you. So I appreciate you more than anything, and obviously to everybody that tunes in. So I thank everybody. And Dave Ryan, December 1773. Catch us on Rumble for the greatest podcast in all of human history. As always, David, I appreciate you for your time. I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone. We will be back next week with even more content. Go back and watch Let's Talk Crazy, the Adrenochrome episodes. Just go to our Rumble page. If you go to Rumble December 1773 or the weekly show and search Let's Talk Crazy, you can find some of those. The Halloween episode. Halloween's coming up end of this month, so maybe a good time to go back and watch those. I'm telling you, that Adrenochrome one made me sick.
Yeah, David, I'm assuming, are we doing a break this year, or are we going to go through the new year? I guess we can talk about this now.
Fuck it, we'll do it live, Ryan.
We'll figure it out live. Gotcha. As always, David, I will be there till the next live transmission. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Later, brother.
See ya.